Hi guys, thanks again for visiting us at Ras Aquaculture. In this video, I'll be explaining how does the quality of shrimp deteriorate over time and by giving some examples over a few days to look at this situation. So stay tuned. Welcome back guys. For those who are familiar with our operations, you probably have found out that we actually only sell live shrimps in our facility that being harvested in our farms, indoor farms and outdoor farms. So that's our main mode of production. So the process involves firstly putting the live shrimps in ice water. So this is actually used to sedate the shrimp and keep it so it's not so active and the shrimp doesn't actually jump around. And in our operations or sales distribution, what we typically tend to do is for all customers, we typically freeze them first or sedate them first before selling to them. Of course, we do have clients that restaurants will require live shrimps that have the facilities. But for those who are not like your typical end consumer, they will need it in a format that is easier to keep. So this is what happens if you keep the shrimps in ice water for 3 hours later in a frozen environment. You can see that the flesh are still very translucent. The head, it's typically is the original color of the head. You can see the color of the hepatopancreas being black or green or even dark brown, depending on what kind of environment they grow in. Typically it depends on the flock color. Rostrums are okay, and the gut is typically whatever color that you place them in the culture systems. In our case, before harvesting, we place them in the Ras system. That's why the gut is not so prominent. Rostrums and are still intact. And this is the shrimps after 1 day of putting in a freezer. So you can see that the flesh is no longer that translucent. It starts to turn a bit whitish, and the head will become slightly a bit brownish in color, which is what you see over here. Bulging of the eyes and the rostrum will typically still be intact even after 1 day. But once it put it longer than that, it will start to be a bit worse. So this is after day 1, and this is typically the format that everybody gets them in. And this is because typically farm operations will need about 1 day to get it from farm to fork. And this is a shrimp that has been around for about 3 days in a freezer. So you freeze it or in a cold truck, and this is 3 days later. You can see that the head will severely become brown, and over time it will becoming darker and darker, and it will start to, you can see that the head is going to start to pop off. So we actually go to the market and start to compare some of our shrimp and some of the quality against end consumer products, and you can see typically it's about 1 day or less depending on what kind of a product it is. And this is what typically consumers are able to buy off the markets and retail shops because it typically. But for operation, we believe that in shrimp farming, in order to be successful, it's not just about aquaculture or production. You also have to focus a lot on the distribution side and how to optimize your distribution channel between the farm and the end consumer level. So which is really important to guarantee product freshness such as shrimps, which will typically deteriorate very, very quickly over time. So thanks again for visiting us at Ras Aquaculture. We hope you like and subscribe, and hope to see you back again at Ras Aquaculture.